I already told you there's no whistleblower except me. I hadn't leaked the classified Trump-Russia intel back then, we wouldn't have had the groundsto set up the special commit. No, just keep saying we don't know anything. Media will handle the rest. That was Adam Schiff caught in the act. Stick around to the end to hear exactly how we got here, but first, let's go back to where it started. FBI headquarters, Washington, D.C. 10:00 a.m., August 5th, 2025. The air in the 7th floor conference room was tight for men sat around a long table, folders and secure devices in front of them. Outside, the hum of the city barely reached through the fortified glass inside. The conversation was about to ignite. Patel slid a thick folder across the table. This, he said, tapping it twice, is the declassified FBI memo. It's not speculation. It's not rumorots. A verbatim account from a trusted source inside the House Intelligence Committee, 12 years on the Democrat staff, describing Adam Schiff in his own words, authorizing the leak of classified information to smear Donald Trump and push for a special prosecutor. Christopher Wray leaned forward, or certain the memo can stand up under scrutiny. No holes, no ambiguity. Didn't flinch. It's ironclad. Dates, times, attendees, direct quotes. We're talking about a sitting congressman saying he'd weaponize classified material against the President of the United States. Merrick Garland shifted uncomfortably. Kash in 2017. DOJ was in a volatile political climate taking direct action against Schiff's spare me the climate talk. Merrick Kash cut in voice sharp. The Espionage Act doesn't come with a footnote, a boutonless. It's politically inconvenient. To had sworn testimony from a career intel officer backed by meeting logs, and you shelved it. John Durham opened his own folder, pulling out a report. Whistleblower sat down with us for time. Each session was detailed to the minute. 12 was in the room. What Schiff said, what the objective was. He even recalled Schiff outlining how the leak would be used to justify forming the special committee. Ray looked at Durham and, you've cross-verified every element. Durham reply internal emails confirm the meetings. Timing visitor records match his description of the room. And now, with the audio recording from this week paused, letting the implication hang, Schiff admits there was no whistleblower but himself, and that he leaked the Trump-Russia intel deliberately. Garland's jaw tightened. Recording is explosive a bit. If it gets out prematurely. Kash's tone hard and edit won't leak early, but it will be heard in the right place, in front of the right people. This isn't just about 217 anymore. Schiff has built his public career on a falsehood, and he's lied to the American people for years while holding classified status. Ray folded his arms. What's your playway? Build the sequence. Kash said memo. First lay the groundwork. Whistleblower testimony. Second give it a human face. Then the recording. Drop the hammer. No room for shift to pivot or spin. Hit him in committee, where every word is on recorded. Drum added the whistleblowers ready to testify. Livy's retired, immune to career. He's angry about how DOJ ignored him. Garland glanced at Kash. You are going to make this a spectacle. Kash met his eyes. I'm going to make it. Just a shift crossed the line, and this Timino one sweeping it under the roof. Room went quiet. The path was set. What had been buried for 8 years was about to resurface, and the fight would start. Harathi meeting at FBI headquarters had ended with no doubt left in the room. Adam Schiff's own words captured and verified, where now part of the official Patel knew that keeping this contained inside the Bureau is no longer an option. The next step was to take it where it would have the most immediate impact. The Senate Intelligence Committee, the committee backed a public hearing. Schiff wouldn't be able to hide behind press statements or party talking points. He'd have to answer under oath. 2 days later, Kash walked into the committee's office on Capitol Hill with the memo under his arm. Marco Rubio didn't waste time. Kash, sit down and tell us exactly what you've got. Kash placed the memo on the table. This is the declassified FBI memo verified by testimonial, a former House Intel Committee Stafford confirmed. Schiff said he'd leaked classified information to damage Donald Trump. In 2017, he admitted intent was to push for a special prosecutor. Every claim I'm making is backed by dates, quotes, and corroboration. Tom Cotton leaned forward. Let's be clear, this isn't about sloppy handling of intel. This is deliberate. Tech said he went on national television repeatedly. He had ample evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. Now know that was false, and he knew it was false. If whistleblower's account lines up perfectly with internal record, Schiff lied to the public to Congress, and he did it to advance a political operation. John Ratcliffe spoke up. It fits with what we heard back in 2016. Schiff expected to be named CIA Director if Hillary Clinton won. When that didn't happen, pivoted hard to the collusion narrative is a way to cripple Trump. This motive isn't in question, it's documented. Rubio flipped through the memo, are saying, have enough to move straight to a public Harange's Kash replied. Present the memo first, to establish the factual basis. The whistleblower test, give the public a first-hand accountant. Finally, we played the recording Schiff saying he was the only whistleblower and, admitting to the leak, won't be able to talk. His way out of it. Cotton looked at Rubio. If we back this, we're making it a priority. Investigation Schiff will claim it's political. Rubio nodded. Of course he will, but politics doesn't erase evidence. What's in here holds up in open sessions. Finished. Ratcliffe at its media will try to frame it as a partisan. His thoughts. Why the sequence matters. The time the recording is played, the audience will have already seen the memo, heard the sworn testimony. They'll know exactly what they're listening. Kash leaned back, slight like whistleblowers ready is, retired, no career, to protect, and he's furious about being ignored. In 2017 he'll stand by every word under oath. Rubio closed the folder. Then here's what will Dow convene. An emergency session. Schiff will be called to answer questions. Directly, no staff surrogates, no lawyers speaking for him, sits in that chair, and response gotten added, and we make the scope clear. This isn't about relitigating to 16. This is about a senior elected official intentionally leaking classified information for personal and political gain. Fats, a national security. Rich. Rubio looked back at Kash. Can you have the whistleblower prepped and in DC by the hearing date? He'll be Kash saddened. He's bringing his own notes from that 2017 meeting. And written, time-stamped, and signed. Well, match them line by line with the memo. Ratcliffe smirked slightly. Schiff thought he could bluff his way through Thishus and force Rubio. Stood. All right, I'll put it to the committee today. There's no objection. We'll set the hearing in Kash. Bring everything. This isn't the kind of case where we leave ammunition in the drawer. Kash gathered his papers. Don't worry, when we walk into that room we'll have enough to make sure Schiff's denials die. In real time, my decision was made. The committee would move forward, and the clock was now ticking toward a confrontation. Adam Schiff couldn't dodge its Senate Intelligence Committee's decision to move forward was the green light. Kash Patel needed. Schiff was no longer just a political figure with bad press, was now the subject of an imminent hearing backed by hard evidence and a whistleblower ready to testify. But to lock this down, Kash had to close one dangerous gap. The Department of Justice's past inaction. If DOJ's own people admitted they buried the case in 2017, there would be no escape hatch for Schiff. 2 days, Lattar stepped into DOJ headquarters with a different team, this time looking for answers that couldn't be spunked. Kash Patel opened the folder and looked